Hello, how are you? How was your vacation? Have you been able to decompress after this mess with coronavirus and all this madness in the world? Cool. Okay, so I think the others are going to join when a bit later. I don't know. It's only five of you, four of you now. Okay, so can you remind me where we left off last time? Anyone? What was the last thing we did last time? Okay, it's been a long time. It's been 2 weeks. Okay, so let's start. Apparently, no one remembers where we left off. Okay, let me just share my screen with you. Uh, okay, and I want to see the chat. Okay, everybody sees my screen? Okay, so last time we did some useless components like progress bar, if I remember correctly. We did, I think we managed to show the pizzas, last thing. Let's check one component. So yeah, we were able to show the pizzas or not. Yeah, we had a product here. Okay. So today, let's try to make the cart functional. Let's try to make a small shopping cart and to make to be able to navigate between to see the pizza details and what else we can do, and maybe link up an external server and store the values on a separate server. By the way, everybody can hear me right? It's okay? As volume? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Uh, just remind me, how can I start the Angular application? What was the procedure to start the Angular application? Again, ng-serve. Okay. Um, so let's do ng-serve, as Alexander said, like this. So while this loads, did you start working on your project? Did you manage to do anything for the project? I received from a few of you, I received the work, but too few. I'm getting worried that you're not going to be able to finish. Mhm. The idea is that I want to see exactly how many people send the project and what is the state of the project before I take a decision regarding the amount of points that I assign for projects and the amount of points for the exam. So, for example, if the projects are very good and I receive most of them, obviously the exam is not going to be that important. First of all, because you're going to know what to do, and second, I want to help you, given the weird circumstances. I want to help you get a better grade. So I urge you to send me the projects and start working. Otherwise, you're going to rely on the exam. So yeah, might not be such a good outcome. So okay, everybody managed to load the application, to spool the application. In your machines. Guys, I know it's early, I know it's the morning, I know it's a nice, the first day after vacation, but please try to be active. So you managed to open the application. How would I see the application running? Where do I go and see the application running now? Oh, localhost where? Do I have this information in the console somewhere here? So we have this information here that you can go and open your browser to localhost 3200. Okay. So let's open a browser. Let's go to localhost 3200. So this is our wonderful application, our fake logo. Okay. So let's look a bit in the console and see what we have here. We have these unused styles here that come from the index. So I think we're going to get rid of this first. Make a bit of clean house. So I think those are in here. Unused. Save. And it should be fine. Okay. So I want to talk about to get into more details about components today and how we work with components and services. So the idea with the component is that you can reuse that code, right? So in this case, for example, if you want to get rid of this button, like edit button here, we want to add something else everywhere. We don't go to each of this and add a button. We just go to one place and change something, and it's changing everywhere. So for example, if I go, I think this is the product, product component. If I go in the template of product component and I remove the edit button, it's going to be modified everywhere. So this is the power of having the UI split into components and having the being able to split your code into components like we did for the navigation, like we did for the Twitter and so on. So as a reminder, also for me, how this application works. Let's see. So first of all, in our index.html, we have this applet. Right? This is the root of our application that corresponds to the main component that we have, to the app component. Then inside here we have in this app component we have router outlet where we cycle our routed components. Right? And here we have a header and a footer that's constant. That's going to be the same everywhere. Right? So inside this router outlet, we route the components in uploading levels. We route them like this. So we can say that if we say /about or /pizza or /contact, we're going to replace the component, this router outlet, we're going to replace it with the component that we have in that route, right? So let's say if we about pizzas and so on. Okay, so let's say we want to let's go and say that we want to see the details for each pizza. We want to make a detailed page for each pizza. So what you can do, how do we create a new component, by the way? Any ideas? Do you remember? We did this a lot of time last time. I want to create a component for yeah, I want to create a component to see the details of the pizza, of the product. So here, okay, so we are in. Make sure that you are inside your project with your console. Open a new console, the system console, not the browser console. And your colleague said something about ngC, right? So ng generate component, this. And let's say that we want this component to be nested inside our pizzas. So we're going to have pizzas, and inside here I'm going to have a pizza detail. So we're going to say pizzas, and inside here we're going to say pizza detail. A new component is created here. You can see here. So as you can see, the component is nested inside this pizzas component. So we can nest. You have to keep in mind this nesting here. It's not nothing to do with. So the component will work the same if you put component outside, like this pizza. If I will put it outside of the pizzas folder. The idea to nesting this is to make a logical structure for your application. Like for example, the service, the store service, in a normal application, I would store it in a services folder. The components, I would store them in a components folder, and so on. So keep in mind that you can structure your application as you want, and, by the logic that you want. This was an example. So what I want is that when I go in my routes here, I want to be able to say what pizza. Here I want to be able to route the ID. Component on pizza detail component. So I want to do something like this. So I want to be able to access pizza detail via the ID. Okay. In pizza detail component, so inside all components here, what I want is to be able to have an ID here. It can be any string. Okay. Let's put it as an. I want to have pizza, obviously. And I want to take this from the service, right? Store service. So here I said that I want to take this from our store service. How can I inject the store service into this component? How can I use it? I want to be able to call the store service. I want to be able to call this one here. I want to be able to access the pizza products here. How would I do that? Anyone? How did we connect to a service last time? No, it didn't build a route. But if you remember, for our home component here, we have passed the have injected the store service into our component. So basically, we took this dependency of the store service and we injected it into this component here. So to do this, we do the same thing. So private store service. So now I can access different methods. So let's say that if I go in the store service, here, and I make a new method inside here, and I say get product. I pass an ID here. and I return the product here. So we want to be able to find the product inside this product array, right? And return the found product. So here we're going to say in this case transport or whatever name you want to say, which is a product equals this product. Fine. Here we're going to pass anonymous method. Let's say product. This is think about this as the as a map or as a for each. We iterate all of them. So this is our iterated element. I'm going to return here. Okay. P.id equals call count. So our PID equals to what here? Any ideas? So look, we try to search to products. So we want to search by what? Yeah, but what number? Because the number is the type of, yeah. So this is equals to ID like this. And you see we have an error here. You see the function whose type is neither void or any must return a value. What do we need to do here now? So we need to return something, right? Return what? Yes, what? What do we return here? The product object. Great. Return product. Okay, so we made our find by ID function. So we go back into our pizza detail component, and with this route that we did here, this means that I want to be able to go to click on this button and say pizza / some ID, right? So we need to add somehow this ID to generate dynamic to the link. So if we go back into our home component, let's see, some component. So we pass pizza now, it's product component, sorry. If we go back here, we see that we have this view button here, right? So we want to make this link somehow. Say instead of button, we have a link. Okay, put the view here. So, do you remember last time when we did the navigation? What did we use to navigate through pages? What did we use to navigate through the router outlet? Can we take a look in the header? How did we generate an angular link? Anyone? Come on, guys. Chop chop, please. Yes, we did the route, but let's look in the header component together. And so we go into the header component. So we go into the template. So we have these items here, right? So what did we use here? We have a router link, right? We created the link in Angular. We link the router with the template via router link, right? Like this. So we need to do the same thing here for our pizzas. You also need to create some sort of navigation. So here we're going to pass a router link, but this time we're going to pass it as an object. So we're going to evaluate it as an object, not as a string here, like here. So we're going to pass here a router link, and we're going to say, we're going to open quotations, double quotation marks, and here we're going to put an object, an array actually. I'm going to say here the route that I want to show is the pizza that we're going to take from here. So it's our pizza, and then I'm going to pass the ID. So the second argument is going to be the pizza ID. So from where do I take the pizza ID here? We are inside. No, we are going to pass that ID to the get product function. So we are inside the template of the product component. Right? So we have product description, product price. So we need to pass the ID here. Any ideas? So if you are inside the template here, yeah, product ID. So it's product ID. You're gonna pass product ID. So let's see what's happening now. So see if this is reloaded. So you see now, if you look in the bottom here, you can see that we can go and say pizza. For some reason, all of them are 0. Pizza 0, pizza 0, and I think I know why. Because in our data, in our store components, in our store service, sorry, all our IDs are zeros, so it's not a very useful ID, right? So you can see ID 1, ID 2, 3, ID 4. So let's check now. So now if you look, we have pizza 1, pizza 2, so we can look in the URL. 3, 4, and anyway, so we need to link this ID to the get product function. And here comes a bit of a hard part. By the way, so Quentin had some issues connecting. See if it was able to connect. So is Quentin here or not? Yes, no. Okay. So let me, yeah, I think I lost my idea. Let me see what I wanted to do. Yeah, to be able to pass, somehow to pass the ID to this get pizza by ID, right? So what we're going to do is we need somehow to parse that this URL here. So this pizza 1, whatever, we need to get this ID somewhere from here. So in Angular, to do that, we use something called activated route. So this activated route is somehow like a service, so therefore we inject it to the component that we want to use. So we're gonna do something like this: private activated route, let's say, activated route. So we want to be able, for example, in the engine unit, to get this change here. How we can do is to subscribe to this service. And bear with me here, it's going to be a bit more complex, but I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. So what we need to do is to have some sort of subscription to the service. So we're going to say route sub, so subscription. Subscription, correctly, yes. So in here, we're going to say this route sub equals this activated route. We need to subscribe to the param map of this activated route. And subscribe to this. And the subscribe will take an anonymous function to return the values from the route. I need to explain this a bit better. So basically, this activated route is an observable. So Angular uses a lot of design patterns, one of them being the observable patterns. This means that, for example, it treats all the data as a stream, and all that data, for you to be able to get it, you need to subscribe to that data. So every time that data updates, you are receiving a new value. So the value is going to be this one. So we're going to have the params from the URL, right? And we're going to say here this ID equals params get, say, ID. Since this ID, we probably want it to be a number, so let's say it's the number. This will return a string, so we need to parse it. Parse int. Right. So let's test this a bit. Again, we pass this activated route to this component through the constructor like this. We make a subscription, so we create a subscription like this, and we subscribe to this activated route. The advantage of this is that the subscription remains active, and if, for example, if the param changes on the fly, also the values inside the components changes on the fly. We're going to see a bit later, we're going to see more examples about observables and about data streams. But for now, let's point this and say this activated get the param in the URL, and here describe the activated observable. Okay. Yeah, this is a bit complicated and a bit ugly, but what can we do? This is when you're gonna get the hang of it, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a bit more clear when you work with this a bit. Keep in mind that every time you subscribe to an observable, you basically get that data. Right? Think about like that. No, it's very clear. So let's put in the pizza retail component. Let's see if the ID changes here. Right? So let's say, how do I output a variable from the component? I want to output this ID. How do I put it? Anyone? Yeah. So we double curly braces. So we're going to say ID. So let's see now if this changes. So we have ID 1, 2, I don't know if you can see it here, 3, and so on. So the ID is going to change. It's going to be taken via the params here. Okay, so now what's next? What do we need to do now? So we need to get the product, right? The pizza here, and we need to use the store service that we have here. So let's say now that we say we go inside here, and we're going to say this pizza equals this store get product, and we pass this ID. Okay, and here we're gonna output pizza. Here I'm gonna show you something called a pipe. So we output pizza. If I output it like this, it's gonna be a bit weird because you're gonna see only object. So we need some sort of a function that can parse this object and can show the JSON value or show it in some way. So in Angular or in templates, we can use something called pipes. So Angular has a lot of them. I'm going to show them for pipes. So as you can see, for example, we have a pipe for date. There's date pipe. We have pipes for currency, for date format, or you can create your own pipes if you want to show different. If you want to show the data in different ways, so on. So let's say here we're going to use there is another pipe called JSON. I'll show the values in the pizza as a JSON format. Here, if you look now, we have ID2, description, pizza Hawaiian, and so on. If I go to 3, so the third one. If I go to 4, so on. Let's see if I go for the something that doesn't exist, it's empty, right? So we don't have anything here. So we need some sort of error handling here in case you don't have that ID, if you don't find that ID. So now it's time to show the details for this pizza. I don't know. Let's make something very, very simple. Let's not make something else here. So let's make a div computer. Beside, I'm gonna make a row. Here, let's make a div called and do 9 and and do 3. And inside, let's say here we're gonna show the cart later. So here. Show the cart later, and here we're going to show the product. So we're going to have H1. We're going to have the pizza name. Right? So we have description, image, name, price. We have pizza name. Then we're going to have pizza description, and what we need to have pizza price here. Let's make this bold. And we have also an image. So we have image source. Can pass here. Say image. Can have an attribute. So let's see if this shows correctly now. So I have our product. I have the pizza here. Price is this one. Let's actually split this into paragraphs. Here the same. I have here price. So let's use another pipe to show this price correctly formatted, because now the price is 10. We don't know 10 what, dollars, euros, or whatever. So let's use a pipe and say currency. It's euro. If you look into Angular currency pipe, you can see how you can, it's an example how to display this. You can even pass the code of the simple. So this is the documentation for currency pipe. So this should show me. We have the description, we have the price. So let's put the description points. So don't need to have this debugging stuff here. So we have our, you see that we have our price for 1 to 0. And if you go in the home page here, I can go this one and this one. This is the, we call them what called first product. Store. Let's see. Yeah, first product. To be confusing. Second. Third. Okay. So, did you understood what happened or not? You want me to explain it again? It's pretty clear or very clear? Very, okay. Quentin was able to connect or not?
I'm here.
You're okay. Okay, great. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna Google here for WebEx. I opened the ticket last time, but they haven't responded by this error. Yeah. Okay. So for a good measure, I'm gonna explain this again. I try to explain this better again. So in our pizza detail component, right? This pizza detail component, we are routing through this endpoint. So we say pizza/id, right? So we say pizza/id gonna point to pizza detail component. This means that in our app component, let me find it. Point here. Inside this router out, we're gonna pass this pizza detail component there. Okay, all is great. The problem is that we need to get this ID and we need to parse it from the URL. To parse it from the URL, we pass this activated route. So this is let's say a service from Angular router. It comes from Angular router, if you look here. So we inject it in the components constructor here. Then we create a subscription because this is the new way of doing things. So the idea is that if I change the value in the route without reloading the page, I want it to be able to reload automatically. So on that subscription, when we do the subscription to that URL param, if that changes, I want it to be able to change it on the fly. So for example, if I change it like this, changes immediately like this. In this case, it's refreshed, but there are browsers who will not refresh. For example, if I do this, I load it like this, or I load it this way, while still the page is not refreshed. Right? So we want to be able to subscribe to the value change here. So we subscribe, we create a subscription, and then we say, subscribe to the param map. Actually, if we are here, let's console log the param so we can see exactly console log params. Let's look in the console and see exactly what's happening here. So we don't have anything here, but if we go to this one, we have this params map, params as map. So as you can see, we have keys, Then we have params here. So the first param is ID. So let's say I don't know if we have another one. We have an error here because we don't have any route that takes two params. So let's go back. So we parse this param as map. So subscribe to this value. We get the ID from here. And we assign it to our ID in the component. Then we use this ID to get the value from the store. We made a method in our store component. Let's see if it goes like this. Store component. Store service, sorry. So we use made a method get product to return a product from here. So it's a bit complicated, but I hope with practice it's gonna be more clear. Let me just commit this for you. Save route. We should have the code. Okay. So let's see what we can do. The next thing what we can do to have this function. Let's go back to our home. So as you can see here, we also have the price is really set like this. So it's up to you to add the euro here. So I'm gonna wait for you to add the euro. How can we add the euro sign here automatically? And where do I go to add the euro sign? With a pipe, but where? Currency pipe. So it's not a pipe, it's a pipe. Yes. Okay. It's funny actually. It'd be nice if you had a pipe in here. In the HTML, where? In what component? So remember that components they have the TypeScript part, which is the actual component. We have the CSS and we have the HTML, which is the template. And we can also have the spec, which is the test for that component. So we can write tests here if you want for that component, but we're not going to look into that now. The idea is that we need to have the minimum requirement is to have a component, like a TypeScript file, and the template for that. The template can be a separate file or it can be here in the component annotation. So, for example, in our home component, we have, if you go in the template, you can see that we go through all the products and we output the component app product, right? The product component. So if you go in the product component, if you go in the template, we have the product price here. So in the template of the product component, we add the currency pipe. So here currency, put euro. So I should change. Put dollar or euro? I put the wrong code. I need to put it in a string. Yeah. Did you manage to do the same? Done. Great. The most efficient. Okay. That was some heavy stuff. Let's see if we can make a workable card system here. So what exactly, let's see, how would we design a cart? How would you design a cart? Do you have any ideas? We can even speak over the web if you don't want to. Like, so how exactly would the cart data structure look for you? Yeah, it could be a list, right? But keep in mind that a card, for example, has we actually created a model last time for the card. In models, you have card TypeScript file. So a cart object should be something that should have the products, right? As you said, as a list or an array or whatever. You should store the products that you have in the cart. Obviously, we need to have some sort of quantity. So for each product, we need to have a quantity. So we either create like a map or something like that, or it's going to be, with the map, it's going to be a bit heavy to do this. But we also need to have some properties for that cart, like we have here, like the total. We need to be able to calculate the total of the product. We maybe want to add a discount. I don't know. We want to have different properties for that cart, so we can output the cart to the screen. So let's think about it, right? So we have a function called add to cart here that takes a product. And we can also instantiate the carts with an array of products, right? So where exactly would I put this cart data, right? Where would I use this if I want to be able to access it everywhere in the application? What is in the store? Great. So we need to have it in some sort of service that's available everywhere, so we can call it from different components. So let's do that actually. So let's go back in the store. Let's close the others. Those others. Okay. So we go in the store service. Let's make it smaller. And let's add a new property here. Let's say it's cart. The type is cart, which you don't have it imported. Why don't we have it imported? So we import cart from models. And we have it as a value here, as a type here. So we're going to say by default this cart constructor equals new cart. And here we have an issue. Why is this not working? Why do we have an error here? Anybody? Why do we should have an error here when I see new cart? An argument is missing. Which one? Our product array. Cool. So by default, when we can initialize with an empty array the first time. You can see we don't have any products in our cart. Okay. One of the issues that we have here is that if you look into our product, as you can see, we don't have that quantity, right? So we add the products, but we don't know any cart. Obviously, if you can have a cart that with a limited amount of one, it's not very useful. Maybe except now with coronavirus, you can want to limit maybe the products that you have into cart. But we want to be able to set up a quantity, right? So where would I set this quantity? What would I do? What should I do, for example? Like I want to have the product and I want to have the quantity there. Any ideas? We can use how? What data structure? What technique? What can I do to add a quantity to this product class? Okay. So no ideas. Okay. So let's say we, in object-oriented programming, for example, if I have an object, if I want to add a new feature from an object to an object, right? But I don't want to change the initial object. What can I do? Extend it. Great. Good job. This is what I wanted to hear from you. So we can have a new file here. We say it's a cart product. Very good job. So we can say here, let's first of all export class. So we are able to by cartproduct.ts. Don't forget the extension. So we have cart product. So in here we're going to have this cart product should extend, right? Extends what? Product, right? We don't have product here. We need to import it. Okay. So when I extend something, what is the first thing that I need to do in the constructor? Like remember from Java. Exactly. And how do you call in Java the parent constructor? Super. Great. Super. We're going to say super, right? So let's say in the product here, I don't really like these params. We set them some default values, but I don't really like them like this. So let's define them in the product as string, which is also as a string. ID is a number by default, and description is string. Price is also a number. Okay, so let's make a constructor here. Make this a bit more elegant. So let's define some default values. Let's say ID equals 0 by default. Give it a name of something. Description. Image. Price is 0, right? Now, what should I do now in the constructor? Exactly. So we need to assign these values. So we can see this ID equals ID. In JavaScript, there's something called I forgot it. So basically, you could do something like this. You can say params or arms. You can assign it automatically, but I don't want to make the syntax very complicated. So let's go back. Let's go with the school example, right? So let's go like this name equals name, this description equals description, this image equals image, and this price equals price. Fine. So what is wrong now, by the way? So anyway, what is the difference between card product and product? What did we see as the difference? Why did we add the card product? To manage quantity. So what properties do we need now? Okay, so we need to add quantity number equals 1, let's say, with the value, default value card. So here, let's say we want to instantiate this card product. Let's make something fancier, and let's say we want to make we add it as a product. So the constructor takes product of type product. So here, what do I pass? Exactly. So we go, let's see what we had: ID, name, description, image, class. Okay. So we have product ID, product name, product description, product image, product price. Okay. So basically, we did the constructor in our card product that takes product and instantiate when we construct this object, we automatically give it a quantity of 1, and automatically we call the super with this values here. Is it clear for you? This is like, why should we do number plus plus? No, we say by default you say it's, yeah, but we have quantity by default, we had 1. We have 1 here. We can add inside here, inside the cart here. We're going to update this, and we're going to say here, going to make a function. Actually, we have a function called add to cart and delete from cart. So we have these properties. So yeah. So we can create exactly as you say, like plus button, minus button, delete button. So we can create all of this. But we should do this in a cart, in the cart object, right? So we have we build the data structures for this. So the problem is that now we have in our cart object our product, our product, right? So it's not a good data structure. So we need to replace with cart product. So here we replace cart product. Come on. Let's save this or not. Cart product, yes. So we need to report it. And we do the same for this one. We add to cart, we can add as a product. So we can add to cart as a product, but it will automatically create a cart product. So we make like our add to cart function is going to be a conversion function also. So let's make this product, let's make them private first of all. So private. And do you remember the getters and setters from the JavaScript course? How would I make a getter for products? Yeah, so we can make like either a function, like a normal function, like get product, as you said. That what you said there is get product by ID, right? We just want to have a get. So we say get here. We say first of all, this is private. We make it with underscore. So we say like this. So we say get product to function returns our products. It's actually products. Product. returns an array of products. And here we're going to say return what? What do we return in this getter? I want to return the products, right? So products are private. No, we don't want to return one product. We want all the products. The products you made it private. So you want it in the cart. So you want it to be private. You don't want to be able to modify it from outside. We only want it to modify it via the cart object. So we're going to say this products. And the idea with this is that with get product is that you'll be able to call like cart product like this, and it will automatically go into this function and get the products for you. Right? But you'll not be able to modify the products here because the products are private. So we do the same thing for total. We have total. We have let's make a getter here. So we get total. Obviously, you don't want to allow the user to modify the total by hand, or let's say we make this library for someone to use, and I don't want to be able to modify the total and assign new values to total. So this is going to return a number. I'm going to say here, return this. For now, let's not care about discount and size. Actually, size is pointless because you can just say get size. This number, you can just say here, return this product's length. Right? So we don't need to have a property that keeps the size. If I want to make a setter, how would I make a setter in this case? Any ideas? Set products, exactly. So you just make a set here the same, but exactly. Good job. Just checking if you're still awake. Okay. So let's see what functions do we need to have here. So we need to add to cart, right? We have delete from cart. Let's see what other functions. Maybe clear cart, right? Let's say public cart. Someone said something about the plus plus minus minus, right? We want to have public increment and public decrement. And so we want to increment what here? We want to increment the quantity, right? Not the product. So we need to pass here some sort of index number. So it's the index of the product. Constant index here. So let's add some documentation here also. Increments quantity of the product with ID index, whatever. The same for decrement. And we need also a function to calculate the cart. Public calculate cart. Okay, so we have a bit of work to do. Are the indexes of the next products updated if we delete the product from the cart? What do you mean? The indexes are yes, the indexes are going to be updated. So we're going to use something called split to remove the value from the array. But the same thing, the index are going to be updated also in the UI. So if you're going to delete the product from cart, you also in the actually not in the UI, but yeah, you might be right. So because you have the product, so the repository of the product is different, and the cart products are also different. We're gonna use the index from the cart, not the index from the UI. So we're gonna have like um, the cart component. We're gonna iterate through all the elements from that cart, and then we're gonna use the index from that cart every time. So we're gonna have the same indexes every time. Okay, so let's try to let's start somewhere. I don't know where. How do we make the function? Let's start with, I'm guessing like this calculate cart, every time we're going to add to cart, delete from cart, we're going to need to call this, right? We're going to calculate cart. So this is really important because we're going to use this everywhere. So we can see from the start that the last thing that we're going to do every time is that is this calculate cart every time. So we're going to add to cart, calculate cart, and so on. Delete from cart, clear cart by default, we don't need, but yeah, we can. So this. If you increment the same, so how would I make the function that calculates the cart? What do I need to do here? What is my train of thoughts here? What should I do? Any ideas? So for each product in the list, we add this quantity multiplied by square. Good job. Okay, now I need to do it. So let's say that you said that for each product on the list. So let's say this product. You can actually use the getter, let's say product. You can say either for each, or you can use I don't know, map or whatever you want. So you can say what is your, what do you want? Let's say for each, because you said for each. So let's have here, we have product, it's a card product. So we're gonna have this total, it's gonna be plus equals, we said quantity multiplied by price. P quantity multiplied by P price. Okay, what's wrong with this? Why is this buggy? No, because so you said we modify a private variable. We don't care because we're inside that class. So we are here, we can modify. We don't care. Right? So we're inside this class, so we can modify private variables. No, there's a functional issue here, right? So there's nothing wrong with the code. The code will run, but there's an issue functional here. What do you think is the issue here? Like something is not going to be correct as values. I mean, is the total going to be correct? So the problem is that we said here, this total plus equal p quantity times, exactly. So we didn't reset a total. So what do I need to do? This total equals 0. Good. Let's say this total equals 0 first. So every time we start from scratch, because otherwise you're going to have every time you calculate, you're going to have our total is going to increase, which is not bad for us, but it's going to be bad for the client. You might not like this. So let's go back here to add the cart function. So let's write here the process of talks, right? So first let's see what do we need to do to add a product to cart. Can I have some ideas? So yeah, we need to create a cart object, but it's already created in the store. We have this cart equals new cart. So think about it's already instantiated, right? So if you want to add a product to cart, what is the first thing that we need to do? To add it to the list. Good. Okay, so we add product to the product list. What if the product exists in the list? We increment quantity. Good. So first of all, we check, right? We need to check if product exists in cart. Okay. If product exists, what do we do? Exists, you said increment, right? Increment. If not, does not exist. Cart product. Okay, so create new cart product and add it. And you create a new cart product and add new created to the product list. Okay, good. So try to create every time when you have like a complex function. This is not a complex function, but with experience, you're not going to need to do this every time. But when you're going to have like, when you're going to work, usually in big corporations, you're going to work after a DFD or after some sort of documentation. So some designer is going to give you this design. Okay, so this is the process that I want to have. This is the behavior that I have to have. So sometimes it's better that you take that process and you split this into sub processes. Usually designers will not say like if the product exists, add it to cart. If not, blah blah blah. Or most of the designers will just say, okay, create a function to add product to cart. That's it. So obviously, if they are good designers, they will say that they will create a sub process and some sort of schema or some sort of graph to show you the entire process of it. But if you don't know it, you just write comments like this. And you go and just fill this. So the first thing to do, you need to check if product exists in cart, right? So let's say const existing. How would I check if a product exists in the cart? Any ideas? So yeah, you could go by for each. Exactly. So we can go through all of them. And you can check if the product exists. So you either make a for each function or you just check the index. Right? So you see if there's a function in JavaScript, if you remember, called find index. And this find index function returns the index of that element. Because we are going to need, if you remember, if the product exists, right, you're going to need to update the quantity for that. So we're going to say this products find index. And here as you are, I hope you are familiar by now, it takes an anonymous function, just like map for each, reduce all of them. I'm gonna say P, it's a product card. Product. And we're gonna say return P ID equals what? PID equals what? Product ID. Great. Cool. Now what? Go to the next step, right? So if the product exists, implement const. So we can say here if existing product not equals -1, so remember that this function find index returns -1 if it doesn't exist. So here you have product not in cart. So if product equal, it's in cart, so because it's not -1. Yes. You have product not in cart. Okay. So we go on the product in cart here. It's isn't existing product a Boolean? Where do you see existing product? No, it's not a Boolean. It's because actually let's refactor this and let's say existing product index. Let's say like this. Okay, I understand why it was confusing. So we check for existing product index. So this find index, just like find, map, for each, takes an anonymous function. So this anonymous function, you pass to the method find index, you pass a function like this. You say return to me the index of an element where the index we search by ID here. So you could search by name if you want, for example, but it's not very. You could have said something like, yeah, the function is the anonymous function is a Boolean. It has a Boolean output exactly. So if it doesn't find anything, it's going to return a -1. So the existing find index is going to be -1. And if it returns an index, yeah, it's something. We don't care about the index of the product. So basically here we're going to be able to have this product, so existing product index. And we'll be able to access here. So if the products, no, sorry, the other way around. It's this here. Okay. So in here you're going to be able to access the product like this if you want. So we said that if the product exists, we increment the quantity. So we say this. Actually, let's uncomment this. Product exists. Existing product index. And I have quantity plus plus, right? Okay. Good. And if the product is not in cart, we do what? The product is already extended, so we don't. So we just need to create a product. So let's say const new, let's say new product. This is not the best naming convention, but this is our product. It's going to be a new cart. And we're going to pass what? The constructor. We're going to pass the product. Wait. And now, what do we need to do with this product, the newly created product? We said, add new created to the list, right? How do I add the product to an array? An item to an array? What was the method? It's similar to Java, the collections. So how do you add an element into array in Java? We're going to have push. Great. We're going to have this product. Push new product. Awesome. Great. Okay. So after we finish all this stuff, we calculate the cart. Obviously, this is not completely error-proof. This is not the best. It's just a general function. It's maybe up to you to improve it. Obviously, if you go into production with a function like this, it's going to cry, because there are bugs here that can show up. So it's not. We don't have any error handling. We don't have any rule checks. We don't have stuff like this. But for our exercise, it's enough. So I don't want to make this more complex than it is. Okay, we have the function delete from cart. So for this one, there's a method called splice. So we're going to have this product, splice. And splice takes the first, it's the index. Where do you want to start? You see, you have splice, it's start, the number, and then the delete count. So how many items do you want to delete after that? It's very similar to Java, PHP, and so on. So it's just going to say 1, right? So we want to delete the first one after this index. So if it's index 0, we delete the first one. As you asked, when we delete, the indexes are going to update. So for the splice, when we delete something, the indexes are going to update. So say product splice, then we calculate the cart. The clear cart, I imagine, is quite straightforward. What would I do to clear the cart? Anyone? So product equals empty array. Great. Empty is the cart. Have this product equals empty array. No. What do you mean? Okay, so now I have this wonderful incremental decrement, which I wasn't actually planning to do today, but since your colleague wants an incremental decrement, let's do it. So what is the train of thought here? What do we need to do for the incremental decrement? Get the product of the index position, okay, and then what? Increment is quantity. Great. So let's do the same. We could do this in one line, but let's do it proper. So let's say prod equals this product of index, right? So we get the product. Obviously, here you can check, like do check for no values, check for quantities, and so on. Right? It's up to you to do it. We can say here prod, not here, but here. Prod quantity plus plus, okay? And we just need, this is a bit of an issue here. The problem is that we said that the prod is the product index. So basically we work on the reference of the product index here. which is not good because we want to assign back a new value. Otherwise, this is going to be a bit, it's going to create a bit some issues with memory management because we work on a pointer of product index here. So what we want to do is to assign new values. And we're going to say this products of index equals, so here you could say something like this. You can say description equals to prod description, or you can say price, this prod price, and so on, right? So stuff like this, you could do this stuff. But this is really boring, and if the object is really, really large, we could say something, okay, give me all the properties of prod. So we should say 3 dots, prod. It's exactly what I did here, put it all of them. And then we're just going to add the new quantity. So we're going to have, actually it's enough, because we already have a quantity here. So did you understand what I did here with this? So this is equivalent of going through all the properties. We say description, prod description, price, prod price, I don't know, all the other properties. Instead of doing that, I just said prod. We can do the same for decrements. So instead of for quantity plus plus, you can say minus minus. So yeah, it's assigning the values, yes. But it's going. The idea is that when you do this, this has something to do with mutability and immutability in JavaScript, which is a very, very important concept. But I don't want to get into this now because it's a bit. We're going to talk about observables later, and it's going to be much more. But the idea is that basically, if I just put this product index equals prod, it's not going to do anything. It's going to just reset the value of products with that index because you're working on the same pointer. You can try it. So you can try in your own computer and say this product index equals prod and see what's happening. But in my experience, so I want to avoid the error later. We just make a new object with the values. Okay, so I think we are kind of done here. Okay, we're done. So what do we need to do this? What do we need to do now? We need to hook right to the cart to the store service where we have the cart here, right? And how would I do that? What is the next thing that I need to do? Do you have any ideas? Any ideas? A lot of craps on Facebook. Okay. So what do I need? How would I link this to the UI? So let's say what do we have? Where do we have our cart? Where do we show the cart? In here. It's this one, right? In the home page. And where? In the product. We want to show it also here, right? Good. So basically, it's something that is going to repeat itself. So we want to reuse it as many times as we want. So what should I do now? Because if I go in the, so we need to create not a template, but a new component. Exactly. Great. So let's create a component. So let's say I do the same thing. and GGC, and let's take cart component. Now we should have a cart component. So again, don't confuse cart component with cart model, because you also have the cart model here, which is improperly a model. It's mostly we use it also for some logic, and we have the cart component here. Great. So I need to go now into the whole component, the template, and I need to take what's inside here. So what's inside? Actually, let's first commit. So you also have the same code. Functionality cart. Should remind me to commit more often. Okay. So we have this. We show the cart inside here. So let's take this div inside here, and go in the template of the cart component here and pass it here. And now, what should I do now? How would I call the component inside the place of the other one? I want to call the cart component. I wanted to call it here, the template from component, and also in the template of the pizza detail. How would I do this? No, not with interpolation. I want to call an entire component. Like if you remember here, we have another component. If you can identify on my screen, we have just above, we have the product component code. Right? Yeah, but how? It's component, but how? What is the exact thing that I need to type? So in the cart component, we have the selector is what here? Up cart. Okay. So here we don't pass the cart because we don't have any input for cart, right? So we can just go here and just say up cart. Fine. So let's see if this works. So we have the cart here. Now I want to do the same for the pizza detail. So I want to go in the, what was this? Pizza detail component. I want in the template. If you remember, we put here placeholder. Just put up cart here. So now, if we go to our pizza, we should have the cart on the right. Visible? I have a cart here. Okay. What's next? What should I do? Right now, this component is kind of dumb, right? So it doesn't know anything. It's just like Jon Snow, doesn't know anything. So if you look in the cart component, it's completely broken, completely separate. Yeah, okay, we can add buttons, but how we can make the cart component be aware of the cart that we have instantiated in the store? Right. So we need to use the store. How do we use the store? The store is the service. So the service has to be injected in this component. How do we inject? Okay, but we need to inject this in the cart component. So we need to pass it as a, yeah. So we need to have here, let's say public store, make it a public this time, and it's a store service, right? So imported the store service here. And here we're gonna make, let's see. Gonna make here another component, another property called cart, right? So we have cart. This is the This is the local variable. It's a local variable for the card component. Okay. So we can say in the engine init here, or in the constructor, but as if you remember from last time, I said that sometimes the services are not available in the constructor. Like when you make a request somewhere, maybe the service hasn't finished making the request. So we're just going to use this ng on init here. We're going to say this card equals store card. This store card, sorry. This store card refers to this card here, right? That we created here. It's a new card. Good. Let's see. Now, close all the others, so more. We need to iterate through all the elements from the card, right? And show them here. How would I do this? For each, but in Angular template, it's called what exactly in the template, in the card component HTML? How did we show the products in the main page, if you remember? Here, if you remember, in the home component, we go through all the products and we go with what? ng4. Okay. Well, I want someone to type. What should I type here? So basically, we just need one product here. And what do I need to type here in the li here, right? So I need to repeat this li with all the products that we have in the card. What do I need to type? Some help? So this is one component here. We use what? ng4 equals what? Let pizzas of pizzas. Pizza of pizzas, right? We need to do what here? So we are inside the card component, inside the card template, right? Card template, let product of products. Okay, pretty close. But remember that products are inside the cart. So I'm going to say we set ng4 equals product of products of cart. The cart doesn't have any products. Cart products. Okay, good. So we have need to do let prod. If you remember my mistake with the for off and for each, for in, whatever, I forgot to instantiate and I was. So need to instantiate the value to create a variable here actually. So we have let prod of cart products. We have here we're going to have, instead of product name, we're going to have what? In the H6, yes. What do we have there? Prod name, great. Prod name, and in the description, prod description, and in the price. And if I want to format the price, I will use what? Prod price, the currency pipe. Good. Currency is euro. Okay, so let's see what we did. And this is empty, by the way. Why is this empty? Why is the cart empty here? The cart is empty. Okay, so if I want to add also the size here and the total, the correct total. How would I do this? So we have the size here, size of the cart, and we have the total here. Use the cart functions. And which are the cart functions? So here, let's look in the cart functions. Models, cart. So we have what? Cart size, right? We have this getter for here for size. And we have also total, right? So we have two functions that we created the first time. So here we're going to have, this is outside the NG4, right? So we have the cart size. So it's without a function. So it's not cart size as a function, it's a getter. You see, you can use it as get size like this. So be very careful because it's very tricky and this catches a lot of people. You will not understand why it is not working because this is a getter. So the getter will only take this as a property. So we have cart size, and here we're going to have cart total, and I want to have it as a currency, and I say currency euro. Okay, so let's see what's happening now. So we have our cart is empty. The total doesn't show. Why is the total not showing? So it doesn't say 0 or whatever. Do you have any ideas? So the total now, when we instantiate the cart, is what? It's not initialized. Okay. So what do we need to do to initialize the total? So we set it to 0, right, in the constructor, or we already have a function that does that for us. If you remember in the calculate, we already reset this. So what should I do in the constructor? Call it. Okay, good job. So we need to say here this product equals product, and then say this calculate cart. And now let's see if this changed. So now the total is 0 here. So far so good. Now, what do we need to add products into cart? Buttons, okay. So I have a button for view. So let's say we put a button here, right, for near the view, and we put a button inside the pizza detail. So we have an add to cart button here, and an add to cart button here. So if we go in the cart component, in the home component, in product component. Oh my God, product component. Where is product component? Here. The product component, we have the price here, and we have the link. So we have two buttons. We have view, and we have. We need to put here another button. So let's actually duplicate this. Ooh, not wrong. Okay. Copy this. So let's put button SM, and this is button info. It's not a lot of link, so cart. So here let's put an icon. Let's say I equals shopping cart, and let's put it as white. So remember, we are using Bootstrap. This is a Bootstrap class, TextWord, and this is a Font Awesome class that should, but is not showing an icon with a shopping cart. Let's look for Font Awesome here. Let's look for shopping cart. So we want only Okay, we need cart plus. Cart plus. Okay. So it's not showing, but why? Maybe it's fast. Yeah, it's fast. So if you look here, it's plus cart plus. Okay, this is what we did. Good. We need to take the same button and let's put it inside the pizza detail component. Let's put it under price, do the same. Let's put add to cart. Okay. So we have cart button here. It doesn't do anything right now. And put text white on the link here. It doesn't do anything here also. Okay. So we need to add a function in the product component. When we click on this button, right, we need to do something. So we're gonna handle the click event. Remember from last time, the events are handled via round parentheses, and the data that is passed, the params that are being passed, are handled square brackets. So we're gonna say here you can say click or hover or whatever you want, whatever click events you want. So they are the same events. There are the same events as HTML. So we're gonna say click. We're gonna say add to cart. And this function is going to be on the product component. So if you go on the product component, right now we don't have the store. We import the store, inject the store here. We'll say private store service. We make the function. Let's import it. Let's make add to cart inside the product component. And what do I do now? What is the process of adding an element to cart, a pizza to cart? I have access to the store. So we have access to the store, right? The store has access to cart. The cart has access to this method. Can you say to me what I need to type? Store, cart, add to cart, and the product. We have this product. Okay, pretty close. We have this store. First of all, remember to have we refer to this current store. We have cart, right? Add to cart, and add to cart takes a param as a product. So you can say the input of this component is product. And say this product. So we both were pretty close. So let's see if this works. Let's go to the home component. We were inside the product component here. So as you can see, it's incrementing, so it's adding new ones. Pretty cool, no? It's actually quite cool. So the total gets updated. So I have to show the quantities exactly. And how do I show the quantities? In the template, okay. Let's put here times the quantity. Let's see. Maybe small. So, cart is empty. You see that every time we refresh, we lose the values that we had in the service because the application is refreshed. It's a single page application. So product, we have times 1. See, like this. It's updating automatically, which is quite cool, I think. And the cool thing about this is that you can take these components, use them anywhere you want, and they will have this cart behavior by default. You don't need to add any other. So everything is encapsulated to this component, this is the logic. So let's commit something. Products to cart. Okay, what's next? We need to do the same thing. Okay, delete from cart, increment, decrement, if I remember correctly. And we also need to have a button. We have this button here, right? This is another component. Which component is this? You remember? Pizza detail. And this pizza detail, how would I make this button? Because the button doesn't work now. You see, the cart is kept from the previous values. So if I go back to home, I add another one. It's updated. It's 370. But if I go inside, it's also 370, right? But if I click on this one, nothing happens. Why? There is no link to the store inside the pizza detail, right? So we need to go inside the pizza detail here. So we have this add to cart. So can you remember me how would I, when I want to click on this button, how would I call the method to add to cart? Click add to cart. Awesome. You do the job for me. So we make a function inside the pizza detail component. This is already linked to the store. So here we're going to say make another function. So cart. I'll say this store cart, add to cart, and we want what? This pizza. So on the other side, we added to the cart, we added this product, but here we add the pizza, but the pizza is a product also. So in OOP, this is called what? I don't remember. The fact that the object behaves is a different. I don't remember the name. But anyway, maybe you know more. That you can have an object that behaves as different entities. Anyway, so let's see if this works now. So we are inside here. We will save that, I think. Yeah. So we add to cart. So you see now we can add to cart polymorphism. Exactly. So we add to cart from this one. We go back to home. We add to cart from here. Add a new one. Okay. How would we? Where would we add the increment, decrement buttons? So the idea is that I don't want to go to. I could show also in the component that the component is being added already to cart. So we need to go in the cart and add increment, decrement, right? So if you go in the cart, let's close all of them. So and go in the cart component. Cart component. By the way, in Visual Studio Code, if you don't want to do like me, this is not my my editor of choice every day. I use IntelliJ most of the time. But if you want to search something very quick, it's Control P, and you just say cart here, and it will show you the found element on the file. So we have this. We have in the cart component, we have the template here, and then we need to add for each of this. This is 0, by the way. We need to add some buttons here that should do something, right? So let's put it in here, and let's make a div button group here, and instead we're going to make a button times 3. So I have a plus button, minus button, and here we're going to make plus trash, maybe. Why not? And let's make this colorful. Plus equals button sm button pager. The minus button is plus button sm button wording. Let's copy this. And here I have class equals button success. Okay. So let's save that. Save. Okay. So let's add some. This looks a bit ugly here. It doesn't do anything now. Anyway, so maybe we can button group. Let's say we have a break here. See if this changes. Yeah. So now we have these buttons here in the cart. So we need to hook them to some values, to some function in the cart. Let's do this how. How would I do this in this component? Any ideas? So let's take increment and decrement first. You have increment and you have decrement. Anyone? How would I call increment and decrement here? So when I call that click OK. So how would I call click? How will I call that click OK that also was before? Can you say to me how would I do it? Okay. Let's, for example, now you say that you don't know how to set parameters. Okay. Try to forget about that. So when you have a problem like this, try to break it into smaller pieces, right? Do you know about divide et impera? Have you done algorithmics in school? The first year you should have something like that. Okay. Yeah. So we need to split the problem in smaller stuff. So we have click here. So we don't care about that. We don't know index now. So we say increment, but this increment refers to the increment methods in the cart component, right? Which we haven't created yet. We do the same thing for the decrement. Actually, let's make value in quantity dequant. It's different, so you know that this is for the cart component, and increment it's in the cart. So for the trash, I don't think we have delete. We have a delete product. Delete from cart we have. Okay. So let's say here, click equals del from cart. Okay, so as you said, we need to have indexes. Do you remember when we did the carousel? If you remember, we took the first item, the index, right? So let's go and look inside the carousel. So if you go in the carousel component, here. So if you go in the template of this component, you see you have ng4 let item of items, and we have let first. Above we have first, then we have index, we have everything like that, right? So we can use the same. You can go inside the car component here, and here we can say let e equals index, and we have e here, and e here. Okay, so this is how we get the index. Now, what's the next step? What do I need to do next? We need to create these functions where? In the cart component. Awesome. So we have how do I name? No, not CartTS. CartTS is the model, the cart component. So in the cart component, that was carousel component. So inc quant, take quant. So we have inc quant, take quant. Obviously, you can make different. You could put better naming, but this is to show something. It's not proper enterprise coding. So this will not survive a code review probably. So they're from cart. Okay. So these methods take what? Take indexes, right? So we have index, index. You can type this index. Yeah. So they receive the index of in the cart. So you can put your number if you want. So you can type it if you want. You can put the return type of the function, which is in this case is void. So you can improve this code if you want. So what now for the increment? What do I need to call here for the increment? We call the method increase where? From the cart where? From the cart in the store. From the store. Awesome. So we have for this, we have this store cart. Actually, in this case, we could just call from this cart because we said that this cart equals this store cart. So we have the reference here. But for the sake of argument, we can just say this store cart. We have increment. We have index here. We pass the index, and here we have this store cart. Increment index. Here we have this store cart. Delete from cart the index. So let's see. It's good from time to time to check your console to see if you don't have any errors. So this is something normal. So that's not really good. So let's add something here. Let's add another one. Let's increment. So the cart increment. Let's decrement. Works. Let's delete from cart. We had a really good idea with increment and decrement. I actually wasn't planning on doing that. So it's actually really nice, the functionality. So we have another issue here, you see? We can say minus values. We can go to minus, so our card can be minus. What should I do here? What would be the proper? So if it's equal to 1, yeah, you could see that. So if the quantity is equal to 0, actually, we should do it. Okay, so let's. You mean in the decrement? If the decrement you already say if it's 1, you don't call the method, you just return and delete from call. Yeah, what good work. So let's go to the cards. Card. Yes. So in the decrement here, we have time. Should be. We have, I think, 1 hour left. Okay. I always get confused with the amount of time we have. So please don't let me release you like I don't know 2 times ago, 2 sessions ago when I released you half an hour earlier. Okay. So fine. You were talking about decrement, right? Okay. So it was the quantity was minus minus. So what we can say, you said that if it's 1, and if you call this, right, you just delete the element from cart. The idea is that also we cannot return them, we need to recalculate. So let's say if this products index quantity equals 0, we said let's say return this delete from cart and pass the index here. So you said that if the quantity is 1, so when we go to decrement, if the quantity is 1, so we optimize a bit, right? After line 76 is what? Okay, so yeah, this is better. This is a good optimization. So if the quantity is 1, there's no point in going through this and reassign and everything. So let's see if this works. So let's close the console. Now if I go, look, great. So bum 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 bum. Go here to do it directly, or I can go like this. Cool. So you could do like a small cart like this one. You could do and make it put it on the nav bar to be always available where you could see the cart. Actually, we could do this right now. We can let's make a small component. Let's make so here a small cart. Let's go and say inside cart small. So we created a new component inside cart. We have small here. Actually, this is kind of bad because now the component is going to be up small. So let's delete this. So if you delete all of this, and we need to delete it from the up module here and from here. So save and say again small cart. Okay, so now it was added like this, a small cart. Cart, small cart. So let's see. Let's go to Bootstrap. Let's go and look for some drop downs. We want what are the coders? What do we want? Wipes, when do we want them? After the next project. Okay, so let's see. We want to drop down. Here. No. Any of you have a drop down and in the menu. Let's say more. Let's see here. Like this. So let's take this guy here. Maybe we want. Anyway, so let's go inside the menu. Inside the header here. Go here, and we have let's put it scroll up, cart small, like this. Small cart, and the small cart I think was small cart. Small cart, fine. So inside this, we pass this guy here. See what's happening. Now I have this drop down link here. Obviously, you can arrange it, you can make it different. So you put here cart. Let's put here cart size. And here we want to have we're going to have cart total. Exactly, so you can show all the products. So inside the small cart components, we need to inject the store. We have private store service. Have public cart. The constructor, we can say this cart equals store cart. And here we can just say what the hell is that? Let's put this. We can say here G4. Yes, we can use the currency for the total. So we can say here currency 0. So again, these pipes, there are a lot of them in Angular. You can create your own. So you can just Google Angular pipes, and there are a lot of them. Obviously, you can improve the cart. You can say you can put the date when the product was added to cart and so on. So ng4 what? Let product of products. We have, let's put a link to the product here. So we have a route link. Let's go down. So in the router link, we add the array. Say we go to pizza, and then we're going to go to product. And here we're going to just show the product name times product quantity. Let's see if this works from the first time. So cart is 0. We add something, we automatically add here. We have second product times 4. Third product, and if you click on it, you go to this product. This pizza 3, pizza 2. It's the same. We have the same product in the store. Okay. Host pizza 3, pizza 2. This is not updating. This is really weird. I probably need to debug this. So if we go to the here, that should be fine. So anyway, you can add all the other functionalities like increment difference if you want also. There is a small bug, I don't understand why the router doesn't update. Second for that. This is here as well. Okay, small static the list of card structure quickly to best to use pipe for text images and other more content. Can we use pipe scripts more static? Yeah, so with pipes, actually I can show you how to create a pipe. So let's say we make let's make a folder here. I don't know. This is just for fun. So let's make a new folder. The app. We make pipes, right? So in here, we're gonna say ng generate pipe. Yeah, you could do a pipe to print a pizza if you want, but that's not the whole point. The point is to have a component. The pipe, you could use it to transform some small values, like you could do a translation pipe, you could do stuff like that. And because we talk about translation, actually, I'm going to show you, I don't know if you have time today, but I'm going to show you how to change the values application-wise. So let's generate pipe, and let's say, I don't know, let's make a pipe to show, let's, yeah, as you said, to print a pizza. So pizza. So let's make a handle exceptions to notify pizza not found. Oopsie, oopsie. Okay, so what do we have here? We don't have anything. Let's look in the Angular documentation. CLI create pipe. I should work. Generate. And generate pipe. It's pipe. Pipes. Pizza. Thanks. Yeah. So as you see, we have a pizza pipe spec and pizza pipe tiers. We don't need the test. We can delete it. But we have pizza pipe. So as you can see here, we can pass, say, pizza type product. So the arguments, we don't have any arguments right now, but you can specify, let's say, some arguments like, I don't know, uppercase, something like this. Let's say title uppercase, true, whatever, and you can pass something. And plus, this returns some string. So we can say here, every pipe has a transform function like this. So we pass the element that you want to transform. It can be a text, it can be a string, it can be a number, it can be any type of object. You can pass the params. So in our case, let's say if need to see exactly transform. Yeah. So here, instead of this, you're going to say uppercase title is true, let's say. And we're going to return, let's say we return dollar pizza name. And you could, like for example, you can say if uppercase title is false, so true, call to uppercase, right? So you can say here to uppercase. So I'm not going to make this now, but you understand the way to do this. So you can make a check here if this is true, uppercase the title. Otherwise, turn it on. So here I have pizza name of to uppercase, and then let's say which is not a product, a cart product. So let's say we use it in the cart here. Cart product. So we're going to use pizza quantity. Yeah. So let's see if this works. So let's go inside our header component here, in our small cart. So small cart here in the template. So remember, the pipes are used only in the templates. You can use them like in extreme cases. You can use them in the components, but it's not recommended. So pipes are only used in the templates to show the values. So instead of having this, you can just say output product and say here. Hope this works. It's pizza pipe. And it's pizza. Let's see if this works. So it doesn't. Because you don't have anything here. Okay. So it's it took the uppercase because you call the uppercase inside here. Let's add something. So now you see, as we said, we can use the pipe to output the pizza as we want, and you can modify it as whatever. You can say instead of this, you can say like you can go crazy. Yeah, so you can add as many params you want, like currency. Exactly, you can say currency true, or so you can say you can take this right here. You can make it as fancy as you want. So you can say, okay, show the quantity, show the whatever. You can say here, let currency equals empty string. How would you like? Currency, yes. Yeah. The problem is that it will think that we are calling the currency as the pipe currency. Yeah, so we can have pizza true, whatever if you want. So let's say we want not currency, but we want show currency. So what currency we have? Show currency. We have, if you show currency, it's euro, whatever dollars. I don't know what's the euro sign on keyboard. I'm going to put dollar. You can also pass some other pipes. You can go very detailed in here. Otherwise, we show nothing, and we can say let's name equals uppercase title If it's uppercase title, it's pizza name to uppercase. Otherwise, it's just pizza name. This is stupid, but anyway, so if it works. So let's name, and here that's one. And let's show currency here also. Currency. So let's see what we have. By default, uppercase is true, show currency is true. So we have this, we have like this. And if we pass in our small cart, say pizza, and we say pulse. Let's see. So now it's not uppercase and it's not less crazy. Okay. So you understand how you make a pipe? Clear for you? Okay. So we have a problem with our cart. What do you think the problem is, by the way? So why wouldn't you use this cart? No, not with the small, the cart in general. So let's say I'm adding this to cart. Go to home. Come on, internet. Go. Yeah, so we have the refresh problem. The problem is that if I refresh, I lose a cart, which is not great, not terrible. But anyway, it's annoying. So we need a way to store this cart somewhere. So we either store the cart to a server in a session, right? Which is the recommended way because we don't want the user to be able to modify the cart. Or we store this cart in what way can we store the values in browsers persistently between sessions? Local JS storage? No. What is JS storage? It's local storage or session storage, right? So okay, we need a way to have this saved every time to local storage. Anyway, I'm not gonna think this too much, but let's say we can add a method inside maybe cart. Usually the methods that transfer data between the UI and the servers and stuff like that should be in the services. So all this storage stuff should be in the service. In this case, just because I'm lazy, I'm just gonna do it in the cart here. So we can say here, we can add another function, and we can say public store cart. Okay, actually, can make it private store cart. So, someone wants to help me, or do I need to just type like crazy? How would I store this to cart? Let's make a process here. What is the way to do this? So, if you remember correctly, I don't know if you remember actually, if I told you before, but in local storage you can only keep string values. So you cannot keep an object. So you cannot just say store to local storage an object. You need to convert it to a string, right? So how do we convert a value like object, JavaScript object to no, not to a JSON pipe. No. We need to convert the cart to convert it to JSON, right? Or to stringify it somehow. Exactly. So let's say store cart, we just say local storage. So title. We say here cart and say JSON stringify, and we say we stringify what? And just say this. So every time now we just want to stringify this guy here. So let's call this sometimes, let's say when you calculate the cart, because calculate cart is called every time here. Let's call it inside here and say this store cart. Let's see what's happening. So let's open the equal to application, and here we have the cart that's already stored here. So let's say if I add something, you see, total update, we have the products. But there's still an issue. If I refresh, our cart here is still empty, right? So what's the issue? How should I debug this? So the cart, it's stored here. So I have it stored in the local storage, but whenever I refresh, it's still empty. Why is this? Any ideas? We didn't load the storage. So where should we load the storage, by the way? Where should I load the storage? Where do we initialize the storage? The cart, by the way. Where is the place that we load the cart first time? In the beginning of the code. Where's the beginning of the code? What is the element 0 of the code? Yeah, we could do in that constructor. It's a good idea, but as I said, the loading and the writing external service, it should be done in some sort of service, right? So if you remember, in the service, in our store service, initially we say in the constructor, this cart equals new cart, right? So instead of this, we can say here, let's say const persistent cart equals local storage, the title cart, right? So let's console log this guy. Console log persistent cart. So let's look what's happening here. So you see we have an empty product. So if we add something like this, then we refresh, you see the persistent cart is like this. So we have the values there. But as you can see, it's a JSON. So we need to parse it. So say persistent cart equals JSON parse local storage get item cart. So let's see. Now we have an array, have a JSON, have products is empty and so on. Now keep in mind that what we return from local storage, it's not a cart object, it's just a JSON. So now this private product becomes public. So in this case, we don't call product, we call underscore product because it's just a JSON. It's dumb. Does it just transfer the data? It's not showing any, doesn't have any logic, right? So we just convert to a string and we convert back from string to JSON. So we can see here if not is no or undefined, persistent cart products, we can say this cart equals new cart of this guy. Else, this is like this. So anyway, you can error proof it, you can add null checks, you can add whatever you want to make this code more robust. Also, you can check if persistent cart is not null undefined and so on. Or you can put it in a try catch. You can say try a raw catch. But in this case, we don't care too much. So let's add something. So we add three products. I'm gonna refresh. We still have the product in our cart, right? So we still have them here. So this is how we store the products in our local storage. It's changing something. Yeah. One issue, what is the big issue with storing the cart in local storage? Any ideas? Yeah, exactly. So this you can modify the price. You can just go here and say total is for me. How do I modify this? I can remove it. Let's see if I remove it. If I don't have anything in the cart, if I have an error or not. You see, you don't have you have an error here, so we didn't check. So if it's not and is no undefined persistent. Now we should fix this. So yeah, you can modify the values. You can modify the cart. So it's not a good idea to store the cart in local storage. But this is just for example. Ideally, you'd send the cart to a server, a session somewhere, where the user cannot touch it, and you always refresh the cart from there. Also, a very good idea would be to recheck the cart on the server with the prices. Like when you submit the order, you check the cart on the server, and you can just say, sorry, this cart you just submitted is wrong, the values are wrong, you're a thief, and so on. You can go and attack his family, you can go and find the guy, send the mobster after him, and so on. So up to you what you want to do after that. But yeah, like most usual stuff, you just show an error. Pizza, exactly, it's really serious stuff. Especially now. These times, it's really bad. Pizza thief. So okay, let's see what else we can do. Some of the issues that, as you said, the guy can change the prices, but also this is really annoying to have the products here and these items here like this. So I would rather have this on an external service, right? So let's quickly make a server to store these values somewhere externally. And we should make a call to that server and retrieve this. And to do this without much coding, we're going to use something called the JSON server. So there's a guy called type equals. You can contribute to this project, by the way, if you want. So this is using Express in the backend. But the idea is that you can have, in minutes, you can have a full server. You just need to install the JSON server without the global. If you want it global, it's fine. No. Okay. Just create a database, and then you just put the data that you want to store there. So let's do that. So let's go inside our project here. Let's make always forget this is not Linux. Okay, so we are inside. You should be inside your pizza folder, your pizza app folder. You should be inside the folder with package.json. So you just say here npm install JSON -server. And now we wait for some time to install this, and depending on your internet connection, it can be faster. So the idea is that in this case, we're going to have where this finishes. You can go in our pizza project here, and let's create something called db.json. Right. So inside this db.json, we need to store these values. Can I store these values as they are in that db.json? And this is very important. Can I just copy this and paste it in here, in this JSON file? So we have to convert them. Why is this not good? Why is this not, I'm talking about the format of the file. Because this is object literal here, right? And we want to store the JSON. So remember, JSON is JavaScript object notation. So this is not valid JSON. So if I go, I don't know, let's copy this guy here. If I put it inside here, if I create a new JSON, I say here, products. It's this guy here. You see, we have a bit of an issue. We say property keys must be double quoted because this is not valid JSON. So what you can do is just you can maybe search replace this. So we can just go for ID and replace with ID like this. We can go for description and replace with description. Okay, we can go for image name price. Okay, so now this is valid JSON. Let's do the same thing for the carousels. Copy this guys here. Let's make it an empty array. So we have here carousels. I'm gonna comment this so you don't waste time with this. Sure. Okay. So we have all our values in this database, like OK database. Call it. How do we start this? Any ideas? You see here that in the documentation you have JSON server watch DB, so to start this. How would I start this inside my Angular application? I want to have also this, the JSON server running from the same command, or not from the same command, but the same thing. Now add JSON server. Any ideas? How do we start our Angular application? So, how do we start the Angular application? How did we start it the first time? No, yeah, when we start the application. So, like for example, now I have Node.js here. Don't you like? Okay. So we have this. We started the application from this command line, right? So how did we start? Close enough. It was ngserve, right? So in the package JSON, we have ng, and the start command is ngserve. So by the way, here, if you want to start the pizza app, you can just say npm start instead of ng serve. So you say, because the start command is this one, right? So if I start this to start the application, you see it's an alias. When I said npm start, automatically ran the ng serve command from here. So you can add whatever commands you want. So now I added the JSON server. So we can add a new command here, say start server. And we can copy the command from this guy here and say JSON server watch dbJSON. dbJSON is the one that I created. More components, more core components. Line 6. Okay, what did you? I had some issue with my pipe, compressed pipe that I created. See. Why don't you like me? Some small error somewhere. I think it might be an issue with this, because the show dollar here. Let's see if this works. My pizza app is back to life. Okay, so if I go and I open a new command line here, let's see where we are. We are not in our project. Let's go to course 4. Our pizza app. I just added the command, right? So you say it's start server. So to be able to run this command, I just say npm run start server. Fail to watch malform JSON in file dbJSON. So you see, we have an issue of formatting because we have a column there. That was an issue. So we can just try again. So now you see that we have this nice message like hello, whatever. It says that I have this products and this carousels endpoint available, and that I can access this application localhost 3000. So I can go on localhost 3000, and I have this server running. So I can see I have my products, it returns this, and I have my carousels that returns this. And the cool thing is that if I open Postman, which I don't have, okay, I wanted to show you how you can post. You can add values directly to the Angular application. But anyway, we're just posting or putting the values, or deleting values. You can make requests and you can add new values here. So what we need to do is that we need to get our pizzas now, because now it's empty, because we emptied the store. So in our store service, our products and carousels are empty, right? So what we need to do is that we need to add some sort of method to call the server that holds our data, and we need to retrieve this data. By the way, can you still hear me? Because I don't see any movement in chat. Maybe, okay. So, okay, what we need to do in our app module, we have this browser module and app routing module and so on. So we need to have HTTP client module. Which HTTP client? Let's see, every time I always forget. Angular HTTP client. So we need to import the HTTP client module from Angular common.http /http. So import it from here, and we put it inside the imports here, right? Second thing, we need to import the service that we need to use it. So we need to import HTTP client and here in our store service. So we do our store service. We need to import HTTP client, and as you can see, we need to inject this this module into our service. So you can say private HTTP client. So what happens is that whenever the application gets initialized and the service gets initialized, we have this injection from it's like a singleton pattern that instantiates this private HTTP value here in the service. So this means that we can say you can have two functions, and let's say fetch products and fetch carousels, the service, and this is gonna return an observable for that service. I have this HTTP get. Let's hard code this and say HTTP points localhost 3000 / products, because this is our endpoint here. We have products for the products here. So this is going to return an observable. It can be any observable, doesn't matter. Import. So I need to import observable from RxJS and return this. And we do the same thing for the carousels. So this HTTP carousels. Is it clear so far? Can read? Okay. So what we can do now is that we need to call this when we initialize the application. So we can say in okay, kind of. So this fetch product and fetch carousel will return an observable to this data here. This HTTP get here doesn't do anything when it's being called. You need to subscribe to this because this returns an observable. So I think remember the associations with the internet providers, right? So you need to subscribe to this data stream here. So let's see where we can fetch the product. So the first place where we could do it should be maybe the most common. We should do it maybe in the main component, the app component. Just pass this, or we can just fetch whenever we need it. So we don't need every time. We don't need to fetch the products everywhere. So let's say we go in our home component, we use them. So we use them in home component. here. And in this ng unit, I say this store page products, and here we subscribe to the function, by the way. So inside here, we make a subscription. This is going to return products, product array. I'm going to say here this store products equals products. And the same for carousels. It's going to be carousel. Can the parent of the URL JSON server be cache code? What do you mean? Pass the URL database when you run the server? Yeah, you can pass it if you want. You can have as many. You can watch as many databases you can make on the fly servers. It's actually, yeah. So you can pass a variable like that. So for example, if instead of saying watch db.json, you can just pass whatever the name you want, but the file has to exist. So store carousels, carousel items is this guy. Carousel item. So we're running a bit out of time, but okay. Well, let's see what's happening now. So nothing happened. Here's why. Subscribe, resubscribe, and so let's look only for this. Actually, the code has been made. So if you look here, we have the code done. We have the response. So you have the carousel here, but it's not showing on the page. Okay. So I think the problem is that, yeah, we don't assign to the local. So we set the values in the store, and once it is pizzas equals products, and this carousel items equals carousels. Okay, so let's see now. So now we get the values, we get them from the server. Just look at the XHR request. So we have a request for products and a request from carousels. And the good thing is that, look, if I go into my database, in my db.json, like database, I can add new element here. And let's say it's 244. The server is going to update. So you see the db.json has changed, reloading is done. Now if we refresh this, we have the fifth one. So this is actually quite cool. We can also replace our code for the I wonder if this still works or not. So this still works because we got the pizza, but let's take the pizza directly from the server, so that one. And so we should have the close all of this. Actually, in the store service, we have get product by ID, right? In here. So instead of this, let's make return what? HTTP get, say, localhost 3000, so it's product, and I'm going to say ID equals to ID. So this is not going to return a product yet. It's going to be an observable. Any observable. Okay, lawful. So now I need to go where we call this get product function, which is in the pizza detail. Pizza detail component. So we have this store get product by ID. Okay, now it's not a pizza anymore, it's an observable. So we need to say subscribe. This by JSON server is going to return an array actually here. So it's going to be products. In this case, it's an imitation of JSON server. So it's a product. So here we can just do this. Say this pizza equals products 0. Obviously, you need to null check it. But let's see. Now, if I go to this guy here, I should have a call. For ID 3, I get the data. You see, it returns an array every time. The JSON server returns an array every time. But the normal server will return just a product here. So you just have it as a product. It doesn't array. But this is how you store the values here. So we're going to see next time how you can send an order. I don't know if you have any ideas on what to do. With functionality, let me know. You can add some other stuff. I'm wondering why this didn't work. So component. Yeah, so it's an issue. Maybe it's interfering with the pizza variable. Anyway, so is it clear for you guys? You understood? Have you understood what I did in the last part? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna play. We're gonna play next time a bit more with the JSON server. Try to do the same as today. This is not an assignment, but just an exercise for you. I don't know, try to add some functionality to the cart. I don't know, try to add a promo code, or I don't know, click on whenever you, let's say when you click on the image, you go to the pizza. So try to play with, ignore the pagination. We're not going to touch the pagination for now. I don't know, maybe try to get the promotions also from the server. So put the database, put promotions, and try to show the promotions from the database. For example, go to your DB.json, and you add here promotions. You add array promotions. Say D test. Now, if you go on your JSON server, you should have a new endpoint promotions. So try to do this stuff and play with the JSON server and looping through data that you got in the server, because this stuff most definitely is going to be on the exam. So we need this for the exam. So this is the, if you know how to do this, there's no reason for you to get maximum grade in the exam. Like if you know how to get data, I'll put it to the screen and make some manipulation to it. It's not very hard for you to get maximum grade. And I think next time is the last course before the exam for us. Okay, so next time we're going to talk about forms. I'm going to think about if I'm going to teach reactive forms or only just template-driven forms, to see if, well, maybe keep it easier for you. And if you have any questions for the entire course, please put them on Slack. Please don't forget that you can take advantage of the fact that I'm available on Slack every day, every working day of the week. So if you have questions, please ask me there, and don't let this for the last week. Don't start learning in the last week before the exam. And also, I want to know more about your projects and what is the status of your projects so far. Because if you come to me like the day before the exam, I will not be able to help you too much. And remember, the exam is the deadline for the project. Okay. And one more thing, I saw that some of you sent projects that are not done. For example, they chose to use PHP. It's fine. If you want to use a different web technology, it's fine. But keep in mind that Angular is going to be in the exam. So I encourage you to actually make your project with Angular. But if you, for example, know some other web technology and you want to use it like Python or Java or PHP, it's no problem. There's no reason for me to take points from you. Okay, understood? Clear? Okay, questions? No questions. Great. So good day. See you next time, and see you in Slack. You can use the same method JSON DB and stuff. Yeah, so exactly. You can use this. You can use the JSON DB. You can use it. You can have stuff like this. Like if whoever wants to go, it's fine. I will stay for 5 minutes to demonstrate this. But for example, you could have, let's say, languages here. You can have here. You can have French, and here you can have English. So you can have stuff like this. So here you're going to have, this is not going to be an array, it's going to be an object. So this is going to be like this. So you have French and English. So for French and English here. So let's say you have properties like, I don't know, hello, or I don't know, whatever, salutation. I have hello, and here I'm going to have the same salutation. I have bonjour. So this is my level of French, by the way. This is the limit of it. So, bonjour. Okay, we didn't say that. So you can take the value. And here, let's say you go localhost languages, and we say French. So you have your languages like this. So it's languages. Anyway, so you can just get the languages, and then you can split them and use them in your application to switch between them. So you can say, for example, French salutation, English salutation, so on. So I will try to make for you maybe next time the first part of the course, and then I'll try to show you how to do this, or maybe put on Slack, put some code for you to, yeah. Okay, good day. Thank you. Bye bye.